This night is cold and numb. I can feel you fade away. From the kitchen to the bathroom sinking. Your steps keep me awake. Don't cut me down, bring me out. Didn't get away, I wasn't ready.
Hey, what's up guys, Auto Fanatic. So today I'm going to be doing a video on the CaliperFexion front brake stud kit for the GT350, 350R. Also the same should apply for the GT500 kits. So if you look here, I don't order the stainless steel versions. I get the 4340 steel versions just because I don't like stainless steel on stainless steel, especially with ARP fasteners. I've had nothing but headaches over the years where these would gall and seize up, and if this seizes up on a stainless steel stud on your caliper, it's going to make a very, very bad day for you guys, let me tell you. So these are heat treated. These are also have roll threads. It's a very simple system that we're going to remove the factory OEM torx bolt, and you can see this is a jacketed type bolt where the caliper is rested on this area here, not this area here. So there's not a lot of load on these. It's really to keep the caliper in the position. But the situation is these are torque to yield, and these are supposedly a one-time use only bolt. And with the factory Loctite, these become a real pain in the neck to get these on and off, especially if you're going to be doing brake caliper removal and pad changes on a regular basis at the track. So I'm also going to show you today, these are their extension studs. And the way this works is after you have your studs mounted, these will screw in just like that. And now the caliper could slide back into this position, pull the rotor off, you load the new pads into your caliper, you slide it back in, put your pins in, and you're done. So this is going to make your life a lot easier. So you don't have to worry about resting the caliper on the front K-member or hanging it off the front strut, which actually could cause damage and also put a strain on the rubber brake hose. So we're going to go over to the car right now, and also before I go there, these adapters here, they're about 50 bucks. They come with these little threaded inserts, so after you're done using them, you just screw them in like that, because you don't want to have these, if you throw them in your drawer, to smash up and dent, and then you're not gonna be able to use them again. So this is definitely worth of an upgrade. So this whole kit here is about 200 bucks. I'm not sponsored. I paid, you know, full retail for these all the time, and I just buy these things for customers, and this is going on my personal car as well. Another good thing, they give you the torx socket to remove it. They give you some fastener lubricant, and also some blue Loctite if you don't have Loctite 272 or medium strength Loctite, and just 2 jam nuts right here, and that's how you're going to install. So we're going to go over to the car right now. I'm going to show you a couple of tips, and hopefully this will make you guys do these installs start to finish without any hiccups. All right guys, so we're over at the car. We're on the driver's side front. I have the car safely secured on a jack stand on the front K-member. So I just want to show you guys quick. So these are the bolts that we're talking about. These are going to have to be removed. You got one here and you got one down here. Now these are a little bit of a bitch, and I'm going to show you a quick little tip right now on how to get them out a lot easier. All right, so this is my little tip for you guys. Bernzomatic torch. So what I like to do is I like to shoot the flame out medium strength, and I like to get it inside the head of the bolt. The heat is going to help loosen up the Loctite and make these bolts a lot easier to come off. And like I said, I'm not going to show you pulling these off because, like I said, it's pretty redundant. So you're just going to get your torch started like that, and we're just going to go just like this. And we just want to get some heat so we could soften up that blue Loctite. And we're going to take the breaker bar, and we're just going to easily, I'm doing this with one hand. That's because I got some heat into the bolt and we were able to break it free. So I'm going to pull the top and the bottom bolts out, and I'm going to show you guys the rest of the installation in a couple of minutes. All right guys, so the next step you're going to want to get just a soft mallet, and I like to knock the pins out first, just like that. To take a small punch, put these to the side. So, all right guys, so I got the bottom bolt out, and what I have on the floor is a foam kneeling pad that I just folded up. This is where we're gonna rest the caliper on. So that's another reason why you have to have the rotor secured. You see what I mean? So the pads are gonna just pop right out, and we're gonna be swapping out the pads anyway. So put these to the side. If you wanna label them inside, outside, go ahead and do that now. So next step, we're gonna pop the rotor off because we have to get access to the aluminum upright. Spacers come off, put those to the side. Okay, so these are the 2 holes that we're going to be working on, top and bottom. So we're going to get that bolt I showed you in the beginning on how we modified it. is going to clean out all the Loctite that's in the aluminum spindle on the GT350. So that's all you do, just lock it in a vise, take a cutoff wheel, and just give it a quick pass. And you can see that there, because you don't want to use a tap and a thread die. Okay, you see that there? Very simple. So I'm using 3M cutoff wheels. So we're going to go over to the car right now, and we're going to clean out the threads. We're going to just take that bolt with the slot that we cut. I just actually had to clean out all the Loctite from the other side of the car. We're going to go nice and easy. You want to screw this in until it bottoms out, and then we're going to pull it out. We're going to vacuum it out, get all the debris in there, completely out of the cavity, so when we put the new studs in, it's not going to cause any issues with tolerances and the new Loctite bonding to the aluminum upright. So like if you were at the track and you were going to do this every time you want to do a pad swap, you're going to go absolutely insane. The amount of time and energy just to get these factory bolts out. And to be honest with you, the cost of these factory bolts, I think after 2 or 3 times of doing this, you might as well just have bought the CalperFexion studs anyway, because these bolts are expensive when you buy them over the counter at the dealer. And I'm going to show you guys all the junk that came out in a second, because I could see it. It's completely loaded up. So look on the camera. You see that? You see the slot? See all that junk? That's all the junk that was loaded up in that cavity. And that little groove went in there and it cleaned it all out, and then it loads it up inside here. So you can actually do this a couple of times, but you can see that there. So now with my finger, I'm taking it all out. Now we're going to go vacuum it. All right, that's it. So once we do this, we're gonna install the new studs with the Loctite. We're gonna torque it down, and we're gonna finish up the install. All right, guys, another step that is not mentioned in the instructions, but something that I have found, because I've installed so many of these kits already, is I like to use the Loctite SF7471 primer. So this is gonna ensure that the Loctite blue is gonna bond perfectly into the aluminum. Now, on a couple of cars, over the years, I did this for a couple of clients that took the cars to the track hard, and when we took out the calipers to do pad swaps and do maintenance, these actually did come a little bit loose. So like I said, we're only putting these in the car using the double jam nuts and about 5 foot-pounds of torque. So you're just wanting this little end to bottom out into the aluminum, and you want the Loctite to pretty much hold it in place. So there's not a lot of load on these. These are just there for positioning of the caliper, but you just want to make sure that you're going to get good contact and bond with the Loctite when you torque it all down. So I just take this, and it's like a solvent-based product, and I just brush it onto the threads. I let it air dry, and then I apply the Loctite blue. I put a stripe going down the side, and then I thread these in. So let's go over to the car right now. Primer's already set. I got the Loctite that's supplied, but if you don't have this or you lose it, you can pick up Loctite blue anywhere. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a bead straight down there. That's pretty much all we're going to need. Just like that. And we're going to be using 3/4 inch gear wrench. Well, let's do the top one first, just so it's better visual for you guys. And you're not going to want to wrench on this too hard. 5 foot-pounds is what they're requiring. So it already bottomed out, and that's because I nicely cleaned out the hole, and we're going to be using the 3/4 inch gear wrench. And that's pretty much it. It's bottomed out. Once that cures, that's not going anywhere. So you just take the 2 3/4 inch wrenches, and you're just going to go in opposing directions like that. Undo the jam nuts. Now go over to the bottom stud. And that's pretty much it. Okay, bottomed out. We're done. So I'm going to let that dry for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to show you guys how to load the caliper onto here with the extension. So the caliper is going to slide fore and aft, so you don't have to take it off the car to do the pad swap. All right, guys, another little tip I want to show you guys. So when you're working on this, the rotor is going to have a tendency to want to fall off. It's going to make getting the pads loaded really, really hard. So I have 2 steel spacers here because these have extended studs on the R. Just an open 14mm lug nut. So just slide the spacers on, and then you're going to just hold the rotor into position and screw it down like that. So that's going to keep the rotor from wobbling around and moving, and you're going to be fighting it. So you can see there, so I could spin the rotor. It's not going anywhere. Now, if you could see here, I have the extension adapters on here, and I could very easily just go in there, and you can see the pads go in and out. So you can slide the caliper out, take the rotor off, pop your pads in, and slide everything back in without going crazy, without having to wrestle it. All right, guys, we're all done. So now we're just going to take the ARP washers. We're going to put them over the extended studs on top and bottom. And we're going to put the 12-point fasteners on there. And you're going to need to torque these down a 9/16 socket, 12-point socket. Now, you do have the option to put assembly lube on these. These aren't the stainless ones, so these rarely would ever gall and cause you an issue with binding. I don't usually put that. I like to do it dry, and I haven't had any issues in the 3.5 years that I've been using these. So they're recommending 105 foot-pounds. So we're just going to get my CDI torque wrench. Okay, so we're torqued. I usually like to do a double click, especially when I'm working on brakes, just to ensure that this isn't going to come loose, but I haven't had any issues. That's it. So then when you're done, just unscrew your 14mm nut, pull off your spacers, and reinstall your wheel, and you're done. So if you see, the caliper is pushed all the way back with the extension adapters that you buy in the kit. Now you could easily take the rotor off. When the rotor's off, I'm going to show you guys quick. Just load up your pads, slide it back on, and you're pretty much good to go. So usually when you're all set up and you've done this a bunch of times, you should be able to do a pad swap in about 30 minutes by yourself. So you got the pads here. So you just take your pad, load them up like that. We're gonna leave the rotor off just so I could show you guys for reference. So you see what we're doing here? I'm just holding the pads. We don't have the pins in. And then everything just slides back on, nice and easy, just like that. You unscrew these guys here. And that's it, and you're good to go. So pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the rotor back on the car, we're gonna load the pads, get it on, knock the pins in, put the wheel on, and you're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a couple of tips and tricks on how to do this really quick and easy. The first tip is definitely use a little bit of heat on the factory bolts. Also, I also recommend that the Loctite primer on the studs, and also cut the factory bolt like I showed you with a cutoff wheel. Clean out those threads a couple of times, vacuum it out, and you're going to have a very successful installation. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to the Auto Fanatic channel. There's going to be more GT350 content to come, including some new parts that I'm testing on this vehicle, and I'll be giving you guys some updates and reviews in the coming weeks. Thanks again. I'll see you guys soon.
This night is cold and numb. I can feel you fade away. From the kitchen to the bathroom sinking. Your steps keep me away. Don't try to dump me out. Didn't get away. I once wasn't ready. Didn't erase. Now I'm slipping through the cracks of your cold embrace. So please, please, could you find a way to let me down slowly? A little sympathy, I hope you can show me. If you wanna go, then I'll be so lonely. If you leave me